Oh, I'm all stoned up this morning.
That's about
700 people. Alright. What we got here, we're solving by factoring. We're going to get into next chapter after we're having tests on Wednesday next week. We're going to get into the chapter after that, start looking at quadratic formula and all that kind of stuff, how to solve quadratic. So just a little bit of background. When we have something that's a quadratic and we solve, we're finding those places that it crosses the x-axis. Quadratic's a parabola. It can be other things too. It could be anything. When you're solving, that's the value that you're finding is everywhere it hits the x-axis. Okay, some people call those zeros, some people call them roots, some people call them solutions. So zeros, roots, solutions, whatever, you're finding where it crosses the x-axis. So that's what we're actually doing. I'm not going to spend time looking at graphs. I just want you to know what it is that you're finding. Okay, so here I've got something that says 8x plus 3 times 2x plus 1 equals 0. Starting off here on a baby step one because we're going to factor in order to solve these things. That one is already factored. That one's already broken down into two parts, two quantities. So once you get it to that point where you have it into two quantities, you're just going to take each factor, set it equal to 0, and solve it like middle school equation style. So I'm going to take my first one there, 8x plus 3, set that equal to 0. Now I've got a two-step equation. What is step uno?
Subtract 3.
A kid, so it gets me 8x is negative 3. Then what's the last step? Divide by 8. So x would be negative 3/8. So there's going to be one of our answers. Pretty simple, right? I got another factor up here, so I got to take 2x plus 1 and set that equal to 0 also. Okay, let's just step 1 in solving that one. Subtract 1. 2x is negative 1, and then divide by 2. So x is a negative half. So we have negative half and negative 3/8. That's it. Oh, what? Yep. Oh, okay, might see them written in the braces. Remember, that's the other way to write them. I just looked at the book and that's the way they wrote them. Alright, so that one was already factored. What we're going to do is put it together with all the stuff that we've done all week long and have to actually factor them and then solve them. So let's do that. Great idea. Thanks. Hey. I got 3x squared minus x equals 4. Directions just say to solve the equation. Alright, today we're using only factoring. So if I'm going to factor this, there's something I need to do before I can even start factoring it. Good, Leah. That 4, I need this set equal to 0. When I factor, I need to try to be in standard form. So I need to get rid of this 4 there, so I'm going to subtract the 4 to move it over. So that's going to be 3x squared minus x minus 4 is equal to 0. Alright, now, step 1 in factoring is always check for a GCF. There's not one. So after that, I've got 3 terms, so I'm looking at A times C, right? Oh, page disappeared. There we go. That would be 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Are there any factors of negative 12 that add to negative 1?
3 and negative 4.
3 and negative 4. And I like the order Leah said those in. Because since this is a 3 and not a 1, I'm fixing to have to do grouping. And she set them in the order that makes sense. The 3 would be close to the 3 and the negative 4 would be close to the 4. So this would be 3x squared plus 3x minus 4x. I substituted those factors in. And then minus 4 equals 0. Alright, so we got 4 there now when we substituted those in. And this is stuff that we've been doing all week. Okay, nothing new yet. Do what? Group them. That's what you meant.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
What would the GCF of this first group be? 3x. What does that leave you with in the parentheses? X x plus 1. Y'all got it. What would the GCF of the second group be? Negative 4. Good. What does that leave you with? X plus 1. Okay, so we got x plus 1. And we got 3x minus 4. Good. Now all week long we've been done there. But now we got to do what we did on the last problem and set both of those equal to 0 to solve. Okay? So x plus 1 equals 0. That's an easy one-step thing. Just negative 1, right? Okay? 3x minus 4 equals 0. What do I need to do on that thing? Add 4. X is 4/3.
That's what I'm trying to catch up.
You got it. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Put them in some squigglies. You don't have to do that, but just want to.
That's a lot of steps.
Yeah. Can be. Alright. They got what you need on that one? Yeah. How about 5x squared minus 80 equals 0? Now, this is actually my favorite kind. It's a little bit shorter. Remember, first step in factoring is to check for a GCF. There is one. What? 5, right? Everybody okay on that? So I'm going to divide that whole thing by 5. What's 80 divided by 5? 16. Good job. Alright, now, that 5 that we divided out, you remember from Algebra 2, I called that a dummy answer. Because when we set all our factors equal to 0, 5 does not equal 0. Right? So we don't even got to worry about that anymore. So all I'm looking at is that, and that's one of the special ones that we looked at yesterday. Good. Good. Good job. So that's an easy 2 of them to solve there. You can just write the answers when you look at that and know the answers, but I got to show my work because I think I'm required to. I don't know. I mean, some math
State
teaching
law.
police might come and arrest me.
I'm undercover.
If there was a teaching police, I'd have been locked up a long ago.
Nah.
Hillary's gonna get locked up.
She won't.
All her charges have dropped.
We're gonna charge them back.
Charge them back. Those are my favorite now. The ones where there's some shorter way like that. Okay, so since that was a shorter one, now we got a longer one.
Yay, I'm going
Is
far.
that a wrap?
Nope.
Is that a wrap?
Oh.
I gotta learn this. I'm not very good at it.
A plus 6. A minus 2. Equals 2 plus A minus 2. Alright, this one we've got the quantity of A plus 6 times A minus 2 is equal to 2 plus A minus 10. Alright, dilemma on this is it's not in standard form. Remember I told you we needed to be in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So equals to 0, but I can't set that equal to 0 when it's like that. So I'm actually going to have to FOIL that stuff on the left,
Oh, I can do
and then that way I can move the stuff on the right over with it. Okay?
that. Okay, so foil it.
2. 2. So this is going to get me a squared
Plus 4A.
minus 2a and plus 6a is plus 4a. Good. And then minus 12. Now let me do this on the other side also. Would that not be the same as a minus 8 on the other side? Because you're 2 and negative 10. Alright. trying to get it set equal to 0. So I need to get rid of this a over here. So I'm going to subtract it from itself and from its buddy on the other side. This 8's being subtracted, so I'm going to add it to itself and to its buddy on the other side. So that gets me a squared. 4a minus a is 3a. Negative 12 plus 8, negative 4. All right. So it took us all of that work just to get to where we can factor it now. So now is there a GCF in all three terms? No. So I'll look at a times c being negative 4. Are there any factors in negative 4 that add to 3? 4 and negative 1. Luckily, on this one, your a is 1, so you don't have to do grouping unless you just love it. You can just plug those factors in, a plus 4 and a minus 1. Now most of y'all can just look at that and know your answers, but again, I'm going to show my work. A plus 4 equals 0, subtract 4, gets you negative 4. A minus 1 equals 0, add 1, gets you 1. Well, it's not wrong, just weird.
So the a squared, where does that go?
We broke it down into a times a.
Okay, then where did the 3a go?
If we did that FOIL, negative 1a plus 4a would make 3a.
Oh, okay. Alright, so all you gotta do is find what times that and then put it in FOIL mode or whatever.
Yep.
Set it equal to 0 and
Yep.
your answer.
So it equals 0, solved.
Alright, I think I'm getting it. Slowly but surely.
Yeah, I know, but this is like the first lesson I actually did.
Never been good at math. I've always been a PE guy.
Well, that's a cubed. I wrote that wrong. 3n cubed plus n squared equals 4n. All right, a little bit different on this one. Still going to have the same principles, though. 3n cubed plus n squared equals 4n. What do I need to do
Get
first?
the 4 over.
Good job. Move that 4n over. So it's going to look like 3n cubed plus n squared minus 4n equals 0. Bless you. Now, Valentina saw the next thing. Everybody else see it?
Greatest common factor.
Good. It's got a GCF of
N.
n. So divide the whole thing by n. 3n squared plus n minus 4. Now, earlier when we took a GCF of 5 out, I said that's a dummy answer because 5 can't equal 0. But now it's a variable. N can equal 0, right? So that's going to be one of my answers already. N equals 0. Now I got to figure out about this trinomial in here. There's no other GCF in it because we just took n out. So I would do, good. That would get me negative 12. What are the factors in negative 12 that add to 1? Negative 3 and 4. Good. Now, I don't get to just plug those factors in this time because that's a 3n squared. I have to do grouping. Alright, so 3n squared minus 3n plus 4n minus 4. Group those dudes up. Y'all set them in a good order. Good job. This looks like we did this one.
What'd you do there?
I just took the factors that made
Okay.
1 and replaced the 1 in with those.
Replace the 1. So you replace the n?
Yes, because 1n is the same as negative 3n plus 4n.
Okay.
Alright, now in this first group, do we have a GCF? 3n, good. What does that leave? N minus 1, everybody okay? She had on a hoodie and sweatpants. We don't get to wear a hoodie and sweatpants. That teacher that just came in to get those printers. Whatever. Shut up, baby. What would the GCF of this second group be?
4 plus 4. And minus 1.
Guess since she's up here and she's a junior high teacher, maybe she doesn't think her junior high bosses will see.
You should tattle.
I'm not a tattler.
Oh, I was when I was like,
Shelby, you still
Shelby, you
tattle.
still
I don't know if you
All right, everybody okay on down to the factors? All right, so n minus 1 equals 0. Get you 1. I yelled at my one of kids last night for tattling. I'm not
My mom makes kids put down.
well, I mainly tattle on
Quick.
Well,
if
yeah.
someone hits me, does it get
No,
trouble?
like if it's gonna end up hurting them.
What did you do with the 3 and the 4? Oh, okay. So you just do the
That's
n
way too
minus
much
1.
work.
Wait. Three. Oh, okay. So it'd be n minus 1. N
All right, I had people at all different paces on that one. I'm listening to people all around the room. Some of y'all have been done for a while. Some of y'all were with me just then, and some of y'all are just about there. That's okay. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
We'll let you try one here in just a second. Let me let everybody get caught up.
Why is there a 0 in there?
Remember,
Oh, yeah.
remember that?
There's 3.
Yep. Don't forget that 0 because of that n we took out in the beginning. Okay, and remember this, an old Algebra 2 rule here. Whatever your highest power is, that's how many potential answers you have. They might not all show up because some of them might be imaginary, but you can't have, this had a power of 3, so I could have 3, 2, or 1, or no answers. I couldn't have 4, right? That's the most potential answers you could have. You're going to have 3. You'll have whatever the highest power is, but you might not see them all because some of them might be imaginary. We're not doing imaginary ones today. You're welcome.
I hate those.
Okay. Hopefully. Will you always get on the n minus 1? Will you always get the same one on both of
That's what
them?
I was wondering.
Yes.
Every
yes.
time?
Yes.
If you-
If you
if you
don't,
don't,
you messed up. All right. What was your question, Katie?
Do that goes
They
in the
have 2 in
bracket.
third quarter.
In the when you write them in the brackets like that, they're supposed to be in ascending order, but I
answer will
don't
be
want
in
you
order.
wrong for that.
Look for those answers. Will they ever switch them up? Like have the same answers, but like switch the order up?
No, they wouldn't have multiple answers like that. Whichever one had the
Like
right
different
ones,
orders?
right? They wouldn't do that.
Okay. Okay.
All right, let me let you try one. See if we're getting it any better. How about, and this won't be too hard of one, 2x, pushing the wrong buttons, 2x squared equals 3 minus x. See if you can solve that one.
Terrible at this thing.
Miss Brewington, the yearbook that's selling that popcorn. It cracks me up because we sold popcorn for volleyball, but it was a different kind, but she loved it. She was like, when are you going to sell that popcorn again? So I would have thought she would have sold the same kind that it's a different kind of. Chicken save 3 is -6. So you need the factors of
I added
-6
something.
to add to 1.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out like nothing.
Yeah. My bad. You're alright.
6. Okay, so then you got.
Instead of making that negative, bring all those over here. What is subtracting that? That is all off.
What? What are you talking about?
We have a Snapchat streak, and she's not Snapchatting.
Like, look, you can't be saying stuff like that and makes when I thought something was really wrong.
No.
I wouldn't have said that loud. No, hey. That's gonna be fun.
Warm-up pants and a warm gray shirt. Says the basketball players out here.
I want your less trim accent to be located on a sleeve and or no more than 2 such X's.
Got stuff.
Where we got? So it would be to make these both be 2x plus 3. So just a 1, take a negative 1 out, and that'll turn those signs. That'll make that be a positive 2x and a positive 3. So you weren't.
I thought you had to get the same thing.
Well, you got to get, since you took an x out here, you got 2x plus 3. You need to get a 2x plus 3 again.
Oh,
So you need to take a negative 1 out, yeah. Rule for net play to prevent contact with the net and intent of outplay. To not be net fault unless the team is maintaining. No. No.
I mean, they'll card me, but I'll be turning 18 that day, so I will see that. That's my birthday.
I mean, you look for front.
and then I do.
So it'll be x minus 1 will be in the parentheses, and then the 2x plus 3.
All right.
You're on the right road.
Sorry.
You're all right.
Since that X was out there, there can be a 0.
No, there. You don't
Oh,
have
on
an
the
extra.
first one, there wasn't nothing.
Right.
Okay. So it'd be
All right. First thing, still got a couple of you finishing, and that's okay. First thing was it needed to be in standard form. So I needed to add an x to get rid of it over here, and I needed to subtract a 3 to get rid of it over here. So that would look like 2x squared. I'm adding an x, and I'm subtracting a 3. Make sure you put those in standard form order. Don't put the minus 3 in front of the 1. That'll mess you up. In front of the x. That'll mess you up. All right, now was there a GCF? Nope. So you looked at A times C. You got negative 6. What factors is negative 6 added to 1?
3, negative 2.
3 and negative 2. Good. Good. When I put those in, I'm going to plug them in the order Kelsey said. I'm going to say 2x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 3. Now, Austin plugged them in the other way, and he still got the same answer. Okay, so it still worked if you put the 3x first. Group those. Left my equals to 0. So now my GCF, and I'm looking a little bit different than yours, Austin, but that's all right. My GCF in this group would be 2x. That would leave me with x minus 1. This one would be 3, and that would leave me with x minus 1. So here's where Austin and I will get back on the same path again. I've got x minus 1, which he had, and then I've got 2x plus 3, which he had. So we just look different in a couple of steps. Plus 3. There we go. Alright, now you just got to set both of those factors equal to 0 and solve them. X minus 1 equals 0. Got you a good old number 1. Which would all of y'all are number 1 in my heart.
Oh,
Track 3. Only 2 of y'all have heard that. Oh, thanks, Caleb. I didn't think you heard with the beat so
I
much there.
actually heard.
Louise, your little ears didn't hear that.
That's funny.
Alright, so we got negative 1.5 and 1. How'd y'all do?
Alright.
I think we're time for board races now, Coach.
Board races! No. Yep. If maybe one day when the smartboard ever works, we'll do something cool like that.
once I'm good, then we'll do it.
Yeah.
Bull said he can beat me.
Not at this.
Bull looks dead. Oh, well, that's Hardball that looks dead. My bad.
Yeah, he's.
Hardball, we go.
I don't know.
If I let Bulls pick the topic, he could give you a run for your money.
I don't know about this.
All right, test will be Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll have an assignments. Monday and Tuesday we'll review. Test will be Wednesday.
Flip yourself.
Bailey.
Park Law, that'll be a wrap.
Alright, now he's awake.